This is very echoey. Now watch what happens here. They said once again they do the same thing. They limit the amount of information that they give to the other people. So basically, it was the GP's idea that she called mental health to see what's going on, and yet he's calling me saying it was my idea. You see how the bullshit starts already? Let's continue.
I don't get this, because she was the one who suggested that I talk to you today.
What was that again, sorry? It's quite hard to hear you.
She suggested that I talk to you today.
We're talking now.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it would be about, because it's just... Because the thing is that the reason why I contacted the police in the first place was to report a crime, and then like clockwork it comes back to my mental health. But in this case I don't really mind, because if I'm fast tracked onto Brighton CMHT, then it means that Brighton Council, I have more of a chance of being housed here. Because I know you guys don't deal with housing, but if I have, if Brighton CMHT already want to get involved with my case, then it actually makes it easier for Brighton Council to be able to house me, even though I haven't been here very long. To be honest, I kind of thought that the crimes that were being committed against me, which are actually being investigated by the United Nations, I thought that would make me an exception.
Sure.
But
okay, so that's fair enough. If that's your reason for wanting to get involved with us, or rather the CMHT. Could I ask you some basic questions about how you're looking after yourself?
sure,
Are you eating and drinking okay?
every day.
Yeah. You worried about your own safety at all?
No.
No, you're feeling safe. Any aggression towards anybody else at all?
No.
No. So you keep yourself safe. Yeah. If you feel safe, you're eating okay. I know that you stopped your medication. About a year ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
When I took them, the crimes didn't stop, so I stopped taking them.
Yeah. So.
Because from my understanding, taking medication doesn't stop crime. Investigating a crime does.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What was the crime that you reported?
Well, basically, I reported several counts of harassment, torture, abuse, neglect of duty of care, committed by several people in my community, including my support workers, including my neighbours, including people from Brent CMHT. I've reported several people over the years. There have been instances where there have been violence on me in one of the residences that I lived in Brent, and yet nothing was done about that, even though there were next door neighbours bragging about it. So for me, it's just, it's a case where the UK government is clearly caught in a lie, and instead of actually doing anything about it, what they've done is they've rounded up the most vulnerable people who are talking about this stuff and researching this stuff, misdiagnosing them, and trying to get them institutionalized, made homeless or worse, so that they can be discredited and discouraged further from speaking the truth.
Yeah.
It's a classic narcissistic tactic, actually. It's a classic narcissistic tactic, and it's been employed it's called the Martha Mitchell effect, and it's been employed for like decades.
Yeah. What was that again? The
Martha Mitchell effect. Martha Mitchell was the wife of a senator who uncovered the Bay of Pigs scandal.
Yeah.
like years before it broke out. But the thing is, when she spoke out about it, she was locked up in a mental hospital. They misdiagnosed her.
I don't actually know if it was years before the Bay of Pigs scandal broke. But the point of the matter is, she actually exposed the Bay of Pigs before the scandal broke out. But they locked her up in a mental hospital for exposing it. That is the US government.
You know, a drunk and all the rest of it. And it turned out she was right.
Yeah.
It turned out she was right after all this time. That's what happens to people like myself who come up against really, really powerful people, abusing their power, doing things they're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
They misdiagnose you deliberately. They play on any mental health difficulties that you've had as a result of abuse, by the way, because mental illness doesn't come up out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
You have to be extremely stressed and put under extreme torture. It is extreme strain placed on your sensory experiences that causes mental illness. So even if people wanted to go down the mental illness route, where is the mental illness coming from? This is exactly what I'm talking about. People don't just spring up out of nowhere having mental illness. Now this is the thing. I'm trying to have crimes investigated and you're telling, and not you, and these people are telling me that it's paranoid schizophrenia. Yet if you look back at any mental health illnesses, it normally starts from PTSD, it normally starts from trauma caused in early childhood or at some point during your life. Something snapped the chain.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense that somebody could just jump up and have mental illness with nothing causing it.
Yeah. You know what? I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Yeah, I work in this field and I see it all the time. I think trauma is responsible for a hell of a lot of mental health.
Right, and trauma is normally caused by it can be caused by stressful situations outside our control, but 9 times out of 10, because of the way this society is set up, it's caused by abuse most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So if I'm telling people my neighbors are abusing me, my support workers are corrupt, and I actually have evidence for everything that I'm saying, yet nobody's doing anything about it, they want to turn around and say it's mental health issues. Well, who's responsible then? Who do I decide to sue for compensation for deliberately allowing, by their own words, mind you, by their own words, who do I sue for allowing that mental health deterioration to continue? Who do I sue for litigation then? Do I sue the police who refuse to do anything about it? Do I sue the relocation agencies who have slandered me continuously? Do I sue Brent CMHT? Who do I make out the litigation to?
It's a massively huge topic you open there, and it's more. I guess it's more to do with a complete change in the ways that services interact.
Yeah, but it's more than that, because
Nah, he's got a point. Mental health officials really do need to change their attitude, and they need to hire people who actually know what they're doing. Okay, there are people who get into social work because they've been given financial incentive to do so, and when they enter the profession, they end up fucking it up, and they end up making a problem worse, because they're not there because they actually care about the patients. They're there because they've been given the financial incentive to be social workers. Now, I don't know how long it's been since I've been in uni, but when I was going to uni, people were paid to go on courses as nurses. They were paid to do so because of the nurse shortage. So yeah, like this, and when you've got people like that already working in the system, of course they're going to be easy to bribe. Of course they're going to be easy to blackmail. Let's continue.
a huge change is needed. It's getting to the point where it's actually messing with people's health. The side effects of these medications are dangerous, and people are handing them out like sweets on the first provocation. It's disgraceful.
Yeah. No, I really side with him. I agree with what you're saying. So, yeah. Well, thank you for talking to me then.
Yeah, I don't mind working with you guys, to be honest with you, because again, if I'm working with you guys, then you have to make the request from Brent, which I need.
Yeah.
And then once I have that, I can talk to like Brent Social Services or what have you, or Brighton Social Services, and see what they can do for me. Or maybe you can talk to them for me, or maybe you can put in a good word.
Yeah, what we'll do, we'll get back to your GP and then we'll sort out that, we'll sort the referral for you.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Alright, you have a good day.
Alright, thank you so much.
Alright.
Alright.
Yeah, alright.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Whew. Okay, so sorry. I don't know how much of that you heard because I had my finger over the damn mic, but yeah. You can see already like there's a lot of lies, a lot of deflection. And the fact is, I've come all the way from London to Brighton and Hove, right? So you can see right in front of you how widespread this corruption is. Because remember, I got evidence. The police know I got evidence. I've got multiple police conversations that I've had. They know I've got evidence. They've been over to my flat in London. They know exactly what's happened. So you can see for yourselves how widespread this corruption is against not even against TIs, but against vulnerable and marginalized people and disenfranchised people in general. Some of those people became disenfranchised because of the targeting. So basically, we've got our own government out here creating enemies deliberately so that they can turn around and repurpose it for their own gain and their own. Do you understand what I'm saying? And now you're going to see that this shit is nationwide. You're going to see how widespread that shit is. My thing is, if I'm talking to you about specific crimes, why are you coming over and not looking at the evidence? Why are you immediately bringing mental health into it? Again, it's the same thing over and over again. And I'm already being lied to. Do you understand what's going on here? But it's okay. It's okay. Because these are going to be some lies. These are going to be some lies that the government are going to have to pay for. If they're going to go around telling lies that I'm mentally ill and all the rest of it, well, I'm not mentally ill, but I have mental illness, right? I have borderline personality disorder, PTSD, and then I've got hormonal issues with my periods and that, my ovaries. So it's not that I'm not sick. It's just that the way in which they're painting that sickness, they're painting it in a way to try to discredit everything that I'm saying. But again, by their own admission, they discredit themselves. Because where the fuck is the schizophrenia coming from? Where is the PTSD coming from? Where is the BPD coming from? So basically, they admit to themselves that they don't believe in the astral realm, right? Because they put something into two categories. They put it into biological, that means organic, and they put it into non-organic, which means psychological. Psychological is caused by external pressure. So if I have illnesses like BPD and PTSD, which apparently are not inbuilt, they're not organic, and they're causing this paranoid schizophrenia, which again has been cited as non-organic. If all these things are non-organic and you've admitted that they belong to some sort of outside force, then where the fuck is the outside force coming from? Have I been abused or not? Are the crimes real or not? You can't just turn around and say somebody's deluded. Where the fuck did it come from? What abuse started it? Like, I've literally got evidence of harassment. So are you telling me that I'm telling the truth? Then is that what you're telling me? And you clearly don't believe in the astral realm, and yet you're willing to say that it's come, that this is some external thing that's happened out of fresh air. That what? Even as somebody who believes in the occult and believes in the astral component of health as well as the physical component of health, because you can have malaise attached to you astrally. It can happen. Okay? But even for somebody who believes that The fact that you're trying to say it's non-organic and it's psychological and this, that, and the third, like, how the fuck did the diagnosis happen? How did the illness come about from a puff of smoke? If the crimes ain't real, then where the fuck is the illness coming from? It takes a lot of trauma to break that link, in order to snap that chain. It takes a lot of trauma. So where the fuck is it coming from? Because shit like that ain't just going to come from your own paranoia. Remember, I've been in mental health hospitals. I know how mentally ill people are mistreated. Kept sick all over again because staff didn't know how to deal with them. I've been there and I've seen it. Hell, I've experienced it. Not even just because I'm a TI, but because I have mental health problems. I've experienced this neglect of duty of care. I've experienced it for myself and I've seen it. And yet these people are written off over and over again as just ill. But we all know that illnesses are caused by repeated trauma. So where the fuck is that trauma coming from? It can't be coming from those fucking chemtrails that are being, dusted all over the sky or what have you. It can't be all that. Because you don't believe in that, remember? Can't be the fluoride in the water. You don't believe in that either. Can't be the harmful additives that are in every single piece of food, including organic food. Can't be that. Because you don't believe in that either. Can't be smart dust. You don't believe in that either. You don't believe in the astral realm either. So where the fuck is the trauma coming from? You don't believe in the crimes that are being committed against me. So where the fuck is the trauma coming from? You're telling me they're coming out of fresh air? Please. Fuck out of here. Illnesses don't just happen. And that's why I don't like talking to these people, because they stay lying. But you know what? The fact that I'm down here in Brighton, the fact that I'm making shit happen already, the fact that I knew exactly what I was doing when I came down here, yeah, you're all seeing that. These people are going to trip themselves up here just like they tripped themselves up in Brent, attitude or no attitude, because they stay lying. And watch when I pull out the receipts. Watch when I have one of these mental health meetings and I start pulling receipts out. They're going to have nowhere to look. Trust me.